Hello students, in this video we are beginning with the second unit, that is errors in measurement systems. This unit has 9 marks. In this unit we will be studying about static characteristics of an instrument such as accuracy, precision and resolution, then dynamic characteristics of an instrument such as speed of response, fidelity, lag and dynamic error. We shall also study how to calculate error in measurement systems. Then we will learn about various types of errors such as gross errors or human errors, then systematic errors and random errors. We will study about various sources of errors and what are limiting errors. Finally, we will learn about various standards such as international standards, primary standards, secondary standards, working standards and IEEE standards. All these standards are used in measurement systems. In the last unit, we had learned what is measurement, what is an instrument. We had also learned about various instruments such as DC ammeter, DC voltmeter, AC voltmeter, analog and digital multimeters, series and shunt ohmmeters. Now, let's recall what is measurement and what is an instrument. Firstly, measurement is the process of comparing an unknown quantity with an accepted standard quantity or some reference quantity. An instrument is a device or mechanism used to do the measurements. That is, to find the unknown value of the quantity under measurement, we have to use some instrument. Now, why we have to do the measurements or what is the need for doing measurements? Measurements are done to monitor and control various processes or operations as per the requirements or as per their predefined specifications. Major issue with the measuring instrument is the error. To avoid the errors in the measurements, measuring instrument should not get affected by any external parameters such as temperature, placement of instrument, etc. Also, the instrument should not disturb the quantity being measured. To achieve this practically, however, it is very difficult. Throughout this unit, we will be using two terms, that is expected value and the measured value. Expected value is also known as desired value or the true value. It is denoted as y suffix n. Expected value or the true value is the design value found using the calculations or theoretical methods. This value is the most probable value that one should expect to measure or for an instrument to indicate. The second term, that is measured value, is the value that is indicated by the instrument. It is denoted as x suffix n. In the last unit, while studying the effects of loading, we had seen this example where voltage across R2 resistor, which is equal to 50 kilo ohm, had to be measured. It was seen that theoretically voltage across R2 resistor was found using voltage divider rule and was found equal to 50 volts. This is the expected value or the true value of the voltage drop across R2 resistor and can be denoted as Y suffix n. Similarly, in the same example, voltage across R2 was found using voltmeter practically. This voltmeter had sensitivity equal to 20,000 volt. In this case, voltage was measured to be 48.39 volts. This is the measured value of the voltage drop across R2 resistor and can be denoted as X suffix n. Let us learn about the performance characteristics of an instrument. What is performance characteristics? Performance characteristics are the characteristics of a measuring instrument which indicate the performance of the instrument and help in measuring any quantity or parameter. Knowledge of performance characteristics of an instrument is essential because of two reasons. First, it indicates the quality of the measuring instrument, and second, it helps the user to select the most suitable instrument for specific measuring tasks. Performance characteristics of an instrument are classified into two types. First, static characteristics and second, dynamic characteristics. Now let us learn about the first type of characteristics, that is static characteristics. The characteristics of parameters of measuring instrument that do not vary with respect to time are known as static characteristics. Sometimes these quantities or parameters may vary slowly with respect to time. These parameters are obtained through the process called as calibration, and the static characteristics of an instrument which we will be studying in this unit are accuracy, precision, sensitivity, resolution, and static error. The first static characteristics of an instrument is accuracy. Accuracy is defined as degree of closeness of the measured quantity compared to the true value of the quantity being measured. That is, accuracy signifies how much the measured value, that is xn, is closer to the true value yn. The second important static characteristics of an instrument is the precision. Precision is the measure of consistency or repeatability of the measurements for a given value of input. That is, successive readings do not differ. Basically, precision is the measure of degree which shows by how much amount the successive readings of the same variable differ from one another. When an instrument is used to measure the same quantity under same circumstances for any number of times, and if the instrument indicates the same value repeatedly, or at least every time it indicates a closer value to the previous value, then we can say that the instrument is highly precise. The third static characteristics of an instrument is resolution. Resolution is defined as the smallest change in the measured value to which the instrument will respond. Next, sensitivity. Sensitivity is defined as the ratio of change in the output of the instrument to the change in the input being measured. Mathematically, sensitivity S can be expressed as S is equal to delta A out upon delta A in, where delta A out is the change in the output of the instrument and delta A in is the change in the input of the instrument. Finally, static error or simply error. This is defined as deviation of the measured value from the true value. That is, it is the difference between the measured value and the true value of the variable being measured. Now let us see whether accuracy and precision are related to each other. In the previous slides, we had defined accuracy as the degree of closeness of the measured value to the true value of the quantity under measurement, and precision was defined as measure of consistency or repeatability of the measurements for a given value of input. That is, successive readings do not differ for the same value of the input. Accuracy of an instrument is not necessarily guaranteed by its precision. That is, if a measurement is accurate, it must also be a precise measurement. However, vice versa is not true. That is, a precise measurement may not be an accurate measurement. Let us say this with an example. Suppose the quantity to be measured has a true value of 2.856, and suppose an instrument is designed such that it can read up to 1 decimal place only, and if you take 10 readings and all the time you get 2.8 as the measured value, we can say that the instrument is precise as it is giving the same reading all the 10 times. But the instrument cannot be called as highly accurate since there is a difference between the true reading, which was 2.856, and the measured value, that is 2.8, which is equal to 0.056. So this is an error present in the system. Thus, the system is not highly accurate. Thus, it implies that more the number of significant figures, greater will be the precision of the measurement. Here, for example, 56 has two significant figures and 56.0 has three significant figures. If a measurement is accurate, it must also be a precise measurement. However, vice versa is not true. That is, a precise measurement may not always be an accurate measurement. Accuracy and precision of the measurements depend on the quality of the measuring instrument and on the person using it. However, irrespective of the quality of the instrument and the way user operates the instrument, there is always some error present in the measurement of the physical quantities. In earlier slide, we had defined precision as the consistency or repeatability of the measurements for a given value of input. That is, successive readings do not differ. Precision of the measurement is thus a quantitative or numerical indication which indicates how close are the repeated set of measurements with its average set of measurements for the given input variable. Mathematically, precision can be expressed as P is equal to 1 minus absolute value of xn minus xn bar upon xn bar, where xn is the value of the nth measurement and xn bar is the average set of the measurements. Let us solve one numerical problem. Problem states that table 1.1 gives set of 10 measurements that were recorded in the laboratory. Calculate the precision of the sixth measurement. Formula for precision is equal to 1 minus absolute value of xn minus xn bar upon xn, where xn is the nth measurement. Here we have to find precision for sixth measurement. So xn will be equal to 100 and xn bar is the average value for the set of measurements. To find the average value, we have to write formula xn bar is equal to sum of all the readings upon number of measurements. That is, sum of 10 measurements will be 1005 divided by total number of readings or measurements, that is 10. Answer will be 100.5. So substitute xn bar, that is average value, as 100.5 and xn as 100 in this equation. So we get precision is equal to 1 minus absolute value of 100 minus 100.5 upon 100.5. The difference of the numerator term will be minus 0.5. But since we are taking the absolute value, we have to write it as 0.5. So we get 1 minus 0.5 will be plus 0.5 on numerator divided by 100.5. So after solving this, the final answer is 0.995. So precision of the sixth measurement is equal to 0.995. So far we have finished studying static characteristics of an instrument. Now let us begin with the dynamic characteristics of an instrument. Instruments do not respond quickly to the changes in the measured variable. Instead, they produce some delay due to mass, capacitance and other factors. Every instrument will take some time to respond to the changes in the quantity being measured at the input. For example, industrial instruments which are mostly used for measuring quantities that fluctuate with time. Therefore, it is very important to study dynamic or transient behavior of the instrument along with the static behavior of the instrument. The characteristics of the instrument which are used to measure the quantities or parameters that vary quickly with respect to time are called as dynamic characteristics. Dynamic characteristics are considered for instruments which are used to measure varying quantities. If the instrument is very fast in responding correctly to the changes at the input, it can operate with high speed. Measurement results of an instrument also depend on the type of quantity required to be measured. That is, it may give good accurate results for one type or range of input quantity but may not be as accurate for another type or range of the input quantity. So, the instrument whose input fluctuates with time will have to be checked for its dynamic behavior too. The dynamic behavior of an instrument is determined by subjecting the primary element or the sensing element of the instrument to various types of input quantities. The three most common types of input quantities which are used are as follows. First, step change, linear change and sinusoidal change. In step change, the primary element or the sensing element is subjected to instantaneous and finite change in the input quantity. Linear change is obtained when primary element or the mean sensing element is subjected to an input which changes linearly with time. And finally, the sinusoidal change is obtained when primary element or mean sensing element is subjected to input quantity which has magnitude in accordance with the sine function or sinusoidal function having constant amplitude. Dynamic characteristics of an instrument are speed of response, dynamic error, fidelity, and lag. Speed of response is defined as the speed at which the instrument responds to any changes in the quantity being measured. That is, it indicates how fast the instrument is responding to the changes. Second is the dynamic error. It is defined as the difference between the true value of the quantity and the value indicated by the instrument, assuming there is no static error present. Please remember, true value of the quantity for dynamic instruments varies with time. Third one is fidelity. Fidelity is defined as the degree to which the instrument indicates or reproduces faithfully the changes in the measured variable without any dynamic error. This is carried out under similar conditions. Fourth one is lag. the amount of delay or retardation present in the response of the instrument whenever there is any change in the quantity to be measured is known as measuring lag or simply lag. This delay may occur due to mass or thermal, electrical or fluid capacitance of the instrument. Note, differential equations are used in the dynamic systems or instruments to establish the relationship between input and output quantities. Now let us learn how to calculate the error in the measurements. Error can be expressed as absolute error or as percentage of error. Absolute error is defined as the difference between the expected value yn and the measured value xn of the variable. It is denoted as E, and mathematically it can be written as E is equal to yn minus xn. Similarly, percentage of error is given as absolute error divided by expected value into 100. From the definition of absolute error, we can substitute value of absolute error either as E or yn minus xn. So, percentage of error can also be expressed as E upon yn into 100 or yn minus xn divided by yn into 100. We can find relative accuracy A using this formula, that is A is equal to 1 minus absolute value of yn minus xn upon yn, and the percentage of accuracy is given as 100 minus the percentage of error, or A into 100%. Let us learn how to apply formulas learned in the previous slide by solving this numerical problem. The expected value of the voltage across a resistor is 80 volts. That means Yn is equal to 80 volts. However, the measurement gives a value of 79 volts. That means the measured value Xn is equal to 79 volts. You have to calculate absolute error, percentage of error, relative accuracy and percentage of accuracy. So first one, absolute error is given as E is equal to Yn minus Xn. You have the values of Yn and Xn as 80 and 79. Substitute the values, so 80 minus 79 is equal to 1 volt. Next, you have to find percentage of error. Percentage of error is given as absolute error divided by expected value into 100. The absolute error we have found as 1 volt divided by expected value, that is Yn, which is equal to 80 volts into 100. Answer is 1.25. Next, relative accuracy given as A is equal to 1 minus absolute value, that is the positive value of Yn minus Xn divided by Yn. So 1 minus Yn minus Xn is 1 volt divided by Yn, that is 80, which is equal to 1 minus 0.0125. The final answer is 0.9875. This is the relative accuracy. Now we have to find the percentage of accuracy, that is given as relative accuracy into 100. So 0.9875 into 100, which is equal to 98.75%. Now let us see what are the sources of errors. Errors may occur due to insufficient knowledge of process parameters and the design conditions, or may be due to poor design of an instrument, or they may be caused due to change in process parameters, environmental conditions, and certain irregularities. Errors in measurements may also occur due to poor maintenance of an instrument, or they may be caused by the person operating the instrument who doesn't have the knowledge of operation of the instrument, or certain design limitations may give rise to the errors. Let us see what are limiting errors. We know that circuit components like resistors are guaranteed within a certain percentage of their rated value. For example, resistance of a resistor is given as 500 ohm plus or minus 10%. 10% of 500 ohm is equal to 50 ohm. Hence, this implies that the manufacturer gives the guarantee that the resistance will be equal to 500 ohm plus or minus 50 ohm. That is, resistance will be in between 450 ohm to 550 ohm. Similarly, in the case of measuring instruments such as voltmeters and ammeters, accuracy of the instrument is guaranteed within a certain percentage of full-scale reading. For example, the manufacturer of certain voltmeter may specify that the instrument has the accuracy within plus or minus 2% at a full-scale deflection reading. This means that a full-scale deflection reading is guaranteed to be within the limits of 2% of a perfect perfectly accurate reading. Such limits of deviation from the specified value are known as limiting errors or guarantee errors. Magnitude of the limiting error is given by the equation magnitude of limiting error is equal to the absolute value of the deviation at the full scale reading into full scale reading. Absolute value means the positive value. Limiting error at a specific value of voltage or current can be found using the second equation. Now let us try to solve a numerical problem based on the limiting errors. Let's read the problem first. A 600 volt voltmeter is specified to be accurate within plus or minus 2% at a full scale reading. Calculate the limiting error when the instrument is used to measure a voltage of 250 volts. So, a 600 volt voltmeter, meaning the full scale deflection value is equal to 600 volts. Then it is given that it is accurate within the limits of plus or minus 2% at full scale reading. So this is the deviation at a full scale reading, which can be written as 2% as equal to 2 upon 100, which is equal to 0.02. Then you are asked to find limiting error when the instrument is used to measure a voltage of 250 volts. So limiting error you need to find when X is equal to 250 volts. First, we have to find magnitude of limiting error because the formula of limiting error requires the value of magnitude of limiting error. So, magnitude of limiting error is given as absolute value of deviation at full scale multiplied by full scale value. Deviation at full scale is given as 0.02 multiplied by full scale deflection value, which is equal to 600 volts. The answer is 12 volts. Now we can find limiting error at a specific value x, which is equal to 250 volts. This formula is given as magnitude of limiting error divided by x into 100. Magnitude of limiting error we have found equal to 12 volts divided by x, that is 250 volts, multiplied by 100. This will be equal to 4.8%. Now, earlier we had said that the specifications are such that the value is accurate within the limits of plus or minus 2%. But now we are getting answer as 4.8%, which is much higher than what is specified. This happens because the instrument was accurate within the limits of plus or minus 2% at full scale deflection reading of 600 volts. But now we were measuring at value x, which is equal to 250 volts. Hence, it is 4.8% and not 2%. These are some of the references for the second unit. This presentation is entirely based on the textbook Electronic Instrumentation by H.S. Kelsey and textbook Modern Electronic Instrumentation and Measurement Techniques by A.D. Helfrich and William Cooper. Also, I have referred Electronic Measuring Instruments tutorial website, that is tutorialspoint.com. Please feel free to contact me for any further details or queries. Thank you.